you get them at the ferry place too.
Okay.
Bill, could you refrain from putting the snow at the alley side of the
Yeah, just got it.
pole barn over here behind the
Because, yeah, I just.
fire
got it,
department?
Okay.
But I didn't know.
Alley
if we
side.
had-
Because somebody piled a bunch up. And if I get enough snow there, it all leaks inside.
Oh, you're right.
I already cleared it out around it.
Between your
Yeah, I
building and
just
like
got,
the fire
I
hall?
just got that.
Huh?
Between the building and the fire hall?
So we need to do something
Yeah,
else.
the alley there, there's a little shack and then my pole barn. Somebody piled a bunch of it up there.
That's-
I don't care how much I lay up front.
There, I pushed down behind the league.
Yeah. I had a heck of a time laying it out.
That, look, this is what I was just gonna ask you. Okay, so is this all for the city of Fire Hall Alley? Just
That's all for you this year's then?
Well, and see, we're only in charge of, like, really owns the fire department, I don't know who, and probably for, and for the ambulance. Fire department, I don't know, so,
Okay, so this is ours and I'm gonna put it away safe and sound.
but,
Yeah.
I'll put that back.
Okay. Trish Lane sent a letter,
Yeah.
but I put that in with y'all's stuff she sent.
I just had her, cause she's like, well, I don't need to come over, I'm like, well, I don't like her recommendation's gonna be too lower.
Yeah, it's not, but, he'll be calling in on my phone at 7:30, so if we need to call Trish, we can use your phone.
Yeah, I said if we need to, then we will, so anyway.
Now, some of this stuff in here, guys, are in case she shows up, I have that prepared. This one, in case she was to show up, so you don't even have to look at that in case she shows up. She's on the agenda, but I'm not sure if she'll show up.
Jeff, I gotta head to my next meeting, like 7:45.
Okay, we'll get you in first, or then.
So I only have 2 things left to give you, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool, I'll give it to you tomorrow. I got off the phone with her, and then you text me back, and I'm like, shucks, so I called her back. And then all of a sudden you had the third one, I'm like, ah.
Did you get my email? It's in the breakdown in my email.
Yeah, I got that after, yeah. I got that, I had already checked my emails for the day, and then I had texted you without even seeing that. Because I had it on my list to get that done.
Yeah, that should.
Yeah, so I only have those two last things to do, which are easy.
Oh, Bill, thanks for moving the bulk of that stuff over. Front of the house. You can dump all the snow you want,
Right,
any place south of the tower.
right.
I
I was just trying to widen the street out.
Oh, okay.
So, this is just,
Yeah.
Happened to go
I'll
over.
go through these items with the council.
Okay.
And then I'll speak.
When we get a little more warm weather,
Okay,
I'm gonna
that'd
start
be
pushing
great.
even more of it down.
Here's my,
At least I got my skid steer back.
I'll start bringing these, just kinda
Major bunch of overhaul.
makes it easier to follow along.
Major bunch of rework.
Oh.
guys, if you're ever in here, I leave this on the side of my desk if you know you have new business for the next meeting. It's kinda like what we all write on there, in case y'all ever think of something you want it on there, put it on there.
Well, and she's been delayed a little bit, which for part of the agreement was supposed to be. But I was like, you know, and if you get to them within the 2 weeks, why fight it?
Right.
And she did, or has, but I don't know.
I was telling that last one, it's just in case if she comes to the meeting. I don't know for a fact if she is.
All right, 7 o'clock, call the meeting to order. Did everyone have a chance to read through the minutes from the January 6th meeting? If so, any corrections, changes, additions?
Move to approve.
Motion,
Second.
second by Andrew, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. The agenda. Need to add, Tom from Moore Engineering's got a few things to cover. Also got something from the Census Bureau we need to look at. And that's all I had. Oh, and then a DUNS number update, DUNS/sale account. Anything else to add to the agenda?
And then Marty pressure that land sale. Just update to it.
Okay. Anything beyond that? Now I'll take a motion to approve the corrected agenda.
So move.
Get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excuse me. All right. We've got till 7:30 before we need to talk with Trish, or if we do, Tom from Moore Engineering, I'll let you go first. We've got a couple things we wanted to discuss and you've got to get moving on, so we'll give those over to you.
Just a couple housekeeping things too. I've got a project going on in Medina also, so my plan is to come here at 7 and try to get out of here by 7:45. at your council meetings, then get to Medina is what my thought is, if that works for you guys, so.
Should be fun.
I'll be coming until the project's over, so for the next year, probably is my thought. The other thing is, this is engineer's report, so I'll prepare this monthly also. It's just, something to follow along with, our recommendations for approval, just a good handout, just so you guys can follow along. It shows the numbers on there, we'll have payments to the contractors, it'll list the number right on there. We'll have our engineering invoices coming up with our engineering number on there and with the amounts on there, so just something to follow along and then to look back at it. So I try to get everything on here that I can. Obviously, there's more stuff said at the meeting that's on here, but I try to get as much information as I can. Just gives you guys a chance to look back at that. So, and if there's a meeting I can't get to, I'll send out this agenda or report to look at. If there's something minor that I need approved, then I'll send this out too. So, first thing on there, street replacement district 2020-1. The last thing we need for the Bank of North Dakota funding, and I printed this agenda before I got hold of Sherry today. There's a couple, we just need to know what debt you have left to get that to the Bank of North Dakota so they can finish their underwriting. So I was working with Sherry, I think it's just the street, or the sewer project is what you have on there for debt.
I think so.
I have everything done but two, though, he's got most of the information. I have 2 things left to call and ask about.
Okay. Once we get that, I'll get it to Bank of North Dakota. They started the underwriting, so we need that as soon as possible. Tomorrow would be fine,
Yeah,
Sherry.
tomorrow morning we'll get to you.
Okay. Second thing on there is street cores, soil borings. So in your engineer's estimates from the past, we had a line item on the bottom for street cores and soil borings. We do this so we understand what the profile, or typical section of each street is. Every street's gonna be different, depending on what year they were built. The contractor uses this information when he's bidding the project. If we're doing a full replacement of the street and they're gonna grind the street up, they need to know how much asphalt is there and how much gravel is there and what's underneath the gravel. So we sent out proposals to 3 geotechnical engineering firms, Braun Intertech, NTI, and Terracon. We got proposals back from 2 of those. We had a line item on your opinion of cost for $10,000 for this work. It includes 46 cores, no, they're 18-inch deep cores, and 4 10-foot soil borings. We received the 2 quotes back. The low was NTI for $8,000. Let's see here, I'll hand these out too. Here's a proposal from NTI. This was the low. This was for $8,250. The other proposal we got was for Terracon, was for $15,500. So went through both proposals, they're both the same. Called NTI, they're comfortable with their number. I think they're just looking for work, that's why they went after this one a little more aggressively. So a little bit under what we were projecting at 10,000. We need this information again for the bidding process. They will also design a typical street section in their for us or help us determine that. So they'll give a recommendation based on your soils, how thick the asphalt should be and how thick the gravel should be. So this cost would have to be paid for likely up front by the city, and then you can reimburse it through the project cost once the final loan is in place. Or we can work with NTI, and if they're willing to wait a couple months, you could pay at that point. So,
Okay.
questions on that? I guess if you don't, I would recommend, and they'll hire, or the city will hire them directly, so they'll work directly for you. We can also hire them, but we have to charge markup if we hire them, so typically we just have them work directly with the city.
Okay.
So
Need a motion for that?
I'd ask a motion for, to hire NTI to complete the geotechnical engineering work for the project.
You good?
We always have to, don't we?
Is it?
And go in.
Okay.
The other option is you can not.
Second.
Okay.
Who first did?
Andy. Second by Lauren, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
You could not do it, but we get into construction, we don't know how much pavement's in each block, and it's
Right.
gonna end up costing you a lot more down the road. So, project update. So we're working on plans and specs. We haven't met with the street committee yet. The way we're proceeding per direction last month is the full reconstruct blocks are gonna be the base bid of the project, and the mill and overlay is gonna be alternate one of the project. We're actually gonna have more alternates than that. We're gonna be bidding this project with a standard section of asphalt and gravel, and then the other section would be asphalt over a stabilized base. So you're gonna have 4 alternates, but they're gonna be over those 2 areas. Unless I get direction from the street committee, we wanna add some more alternates in. So where we're at right now, we're getting everything set up, getting ready to meet with the street committee. We haven't talked to them, set a date yet. We're getting some preliminary stuff done. Just for a schedule for you guys, we got all the topographic survey done in town. By the time we were given the go-ahead, we couldn't do the full street survey where we walk all the streets, look at all the curb and gutter that got snow on the ground. So we're getting our plans to a point where we're hopefully 80% done, 85% done. As soon as we can get out here and the streets are melted off and the curb and gutters are melted off, we'll add that information into the project and then we'll bid it as soon as we can. But we can't go into this and bid it not knowing a lot of this stuff because there's just too much snow once we got started. So that's where we're at. We'll get as much ready as we can and we'll be ready to go as soon as it melts. We'll be out here first thing to finish that stuff up. That's all I have on an update. We'll be having some monthly meetings, I think, coming up now to update you, get feedback from you guys and show you where we're at, but really we'll get 80% over the next 2 months and then final 20% as soon as the snow melts. And we'll get it bid. The next thing I have are engineering agreements. So at the last meeting, I talked about we'd be bringing our engineering agreements. So what this is for, we're breaking this into 2 parts. This is for the preliminary engineering, design engineering, bidding services, and we also have special assessment services in here. So we would recommend waiting until the project is bid before adding the second part in, which would be the construction services. At that point, we'll have a schedule from the contractor. They'll tell us how long the project's gonna take us, or take them, both of us, and then we'll put our construction budget together. We don't wanna put that number in yet and estimate longer than it's gonna be, because obviously our inspector's gonna be in the field shorter or longer depending on his schedule. So typically we do this with the first part is the design and bidding, and the second part of our agreement is the construction services. Numbers we put together, preliminary, based on our estimates. That's what we were giving the city before, as we gave you last month. When we come to this phase where we're actually putting the agreement together, we look at task hours, we have a spreadsheet, we break down what we think it's gonna take. And this cost is actually lower than what we were giving you before. We're about 20,000 lower is what we were projecting, from what we were projecting earlier. So, I would ask you to approve it if you don't have questions, or if you do have questions, we can go over them. Or if you want your attorney to look at it, that's fine too. It's just our standard agreement, but it's up to you guys. So I'm not gonna push you to do one thing or the other. So the amount is for $276,000. This is for preliminary engineering, design engineering, bidding services, and special assessment work. They're all lump sum tasks, except for the special assessment work. So the special assessment work is hourly, depending on what we need to be here. It's an hourly not to exceed amount. So in your agreement shows a breakdown of each of those items. The special assessment estimate, I believe, is $14,500. That's hourly not to exceed. So if we come out here twice and meet with your assessment committee, we're probably gonna be under that. If it gets drug into, we need to meet 15 times with them, it's gonna be more than that, but we'd let the council know before we exceeded that. So that's why we typically do assessments hourly, and the rest of them will be lump sum. So we won't go over the lump sum amounts on preliminary engineering, design engineering, and bidding items. So,
And that's included in this, these total numbers here, that 276 is in there,
yep, so,
under the, right here.
correct, yep. So it puts us about 60% of the total is where we'd be at.
So this number is 276, this number is 500.
Yep, so the 276 is part of that 500.
Okay.
So the 500 is what our estimate is right now for total cost.
Mm-hmm.
Once we bid the project, that's gonna, the construction side of it's gonna change. So I don't think it's gonna go over 500 unless they're saying it takes them 2 years to build it, if you want to the completion date. So probably gonna be a little bit less than that,
Okay.
but that 500 is, we gave you 515 before, now we're down to 500 because our design side is a little bit less than what we were anticipating early on, so. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
You think we need to have someone else look at it, or what you guys just thought?
I don't think so. Just because Isaac, and that's really not his wheelhouse, we'd have to go somewhere else, and it's just an extra cost. And I mean, this is, like I said, a temp based boilerplate agreement, so. I guess it just, what do we think when we're moving forward, right? Okay, I'll take a motion to approve an engineering agreement with Moore for the preliminary engineering, design engineering, and bidding services.
So move.
Andy, second.
Second.
Laura, all in favor?
Aye.
Special assessment works also in there too. But, last thing I have on my agenda is Department of Health. So in the fall, every year, we put you on 2 lists. We put you on the drinking water SRF list and the clean water SRF list. Now, there's a potential for loan forgiveness when we put these lists together. So for Gackle, we put your entire water system on there, meters, tower, pumps, water distribution lines, anything on there that you could possibly need to do a project on, submit it on the list, and then they rank cities for possible loan forgiveness. So you guys ranked highly on this list. I don't think you're looking to do a project, but they did send a letter out that said there is possible loan forgiveness if you want to do a project. Now, that list has about 100 cities on it. They've got $2 million total to spend. You're ranked towards the top, so if you do want to do a project, you could submit an application in the next 4 weeks and get a letter stating you may get loan forgiveness. We don't know if that's 50% or 75%, it depends on how their rankings come in. But you got a lot going on with the street project, I know, so.
Would I call this office for the Shannon Fisher to get an application?
She should have included it with the letter.
Yep, she did, and that's who I talked to.
Okay,
'Cause
yeah,
I'd like to call and talk to her.
we would fill out the application for you, it's
Oh, would
typically
you?
what we do for your cities. If you tell me you wanna do a water main replacement project, we put the estimate together.
But you were just saying something about meters,
If you wanna do water meters, that's an option too.
because
Yeah.
that'd be something we'd be, not you guys, update our meters.
Yeah, but I'm really thinking we're in the mood to be spending money on top of the street project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems, I mean, I guess obviously we could pull out of the project at any point, but there's a lot of, I mean, you get a letter back saying we may qualify, but we're still gonna have to foot the bill for the cost of it, they're just talking loan forgiveness.
Yeah, so what they do is they would set up a loan, say you do a $1 million project and you get 50% loan forgiveness. Set the loan up for 50%, or for the full $1 million, do the project, and they just make you pay back the remaining 50%. So you wouldn't have to necessarily come up with cash right away. That's how they set the financing up, is for the full $1 million, and then you pay back just $500,000. But you know, this program, they do have this every year. It is a competitive program. So if you don't have the appetite to submit this year, we'll resubmit you next year too. But,
The only thing I can think of would be like a water tower.
Right.
You know, it's, I think, what, 2 years it's due for inspection again? The whole,
And they were talking, last time they were here to recoat the inside, I think it was. I think it was sandblast everything down on the inside and recoat it. It's starting to have little rust spots in it.
Okay.
what are you talking there, 50,000?
I think more than
Oh,
that.
it was more
Is
than
it
that.
100?
I'd say a little over
Yeah.
100.
So this program does not like to pay for coatings and water towers because they're not 20-year lives.
Right.
So unless you do a full structural rework, because the bond is for 20 years and the loan's for 20 years and life expectancy is not as long. It's more intended for water main replacements, pump houses, new water towers, meters is something they do pay for also. More of the capital improvement projects, they consider water towers more rehab or maintenance is what they typically, not saying we can't submit on it, but that's usually where they push that too. So,
I can't hesitate when looking at water tower project right now, so.
I would say we just skip it till
Yeah.
next.
Like, yeah. I believe we will, unless, you know, any other thoughts?
and what we'll do is we'll put you on the list again next year.
Okay.
So, you'll get the same letter next year if there's possible loan forgiveness. So there's a preliminary list we put you on in October. This goes in and they send out a letter that you got here saying a possible loan forgiveness, and they're looking for the full applications at that point is how it works. So we'll put you back on the list next year, and if you guys, if your tower's a year out or 2 years out, that's something you could look at. So,
All right, did you have anything else?
nope, unless you guys have
Any questions?
questions for me, we'll,
No? Let's be on your way and say hi to Wendy for me.
yes.
So we still have, all right. Angela,
Yes.
you're up. What do you got for us?
I just had some questions about, of course, the past water bill. There's some, Sherry and I had talked, and we were trying to figure out how it came to $1,900, because there's I have the police report says every time Ardell showed up, or every time you guys drove by my house, they charged me $80 at just driving by and looking at the street curb sign. And I was curious, can we get a meeting to get, so that, with someone else? And I know you said that you and your attorney went through it, but I'd like to get involved in that because it just doesn't make any sense to me. And we had some questions about it too.
I don't have.
No,
I
she
don't-
wasn't here.
I'm
I'm
not in on that, so I can't help with that.
Right, and she wasn't there, so I'd like to be able to meet and with someone else to go through this,
Okay.
if that's possible. Because there are some things in here that just aren't making any sense to me.
It's all the reconnection fees.
Yeah,
because
all
we
the
shut it off.
reconnection fees, and I don't care to pay the sewer because we flushed with what we had. But for trash, it didn't get paid, or didn't get picked up for a whole, year, at $10 a month. And then there's another thing where you guys charge me, for trash you picked up at Schlinker's house. But then I have 2 bills from, one that Ardell took and lowered the trash down to Wishick, and then one that, on 2 separate days, that Bill and Tom took a load down to Wishick too, that they said came from my house for $272. So I'm not understanding that, how 2 loads came from a house that you didn't pick trash up from. We've had, I'm not being, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm being smart, I'm just asking. Because I'm trying to do things more diplomatically and trying to, in case you hadn't noticed,
Appreciate it.
I'm not trying to be short with anyone, I'm just trying to understand going from 1 month we went from owing $400 supposedly to owing $800, and then it went up another $200, $300. So I'm trying to figure out where these came from. She charged me twice in March on the 13th, 2 reconnection fees of $80 apiece. And then,
What date are you on?
3/13 of 18.
So that way they can get to the page.
So I know from a while there, someone was turning your water back on, and we were having to go out and turn it off. I mean, I know we had to do it several times. So I mean, that's where that.
I'm not denying that, but there are times where we weren't even here. Like February 22nd, Ardell said he called and the water was on. We were in Florida
But your
during
kids
that
were here.
time. But the
Your
kids were here, so I can't control when I'm away what they did. I didn't know that at the time until after the fact. There was an incident where Henry and I had went to Jamestown and the sheriff showed up with one of the guys. Let me see who. I don't remember who it was, but they showed up, and on May 5th, when the water was turned on, we were up in Jamestown. We got unfortunately, two different officers. One we were wrote down with a state trooper, and one I got a ticket from Jamestown when we weren't here. I didn't know Cody had done that. So I'm not denying that at times those, but I'm trying to figure out why $300 in 1 month is can reconnect in fees when there's no, because the sheriff was always there. He was always contacted. I've got the police report of anytime they just drove by my house, and then I get a reconnect fee. I'm trying to figure out why I keep getting reconnect fees when you're just driving by and looking.
Did we ever do that?
I've never done that.
Ardell did. Ardell called the sheriff several times. I just drove by the Markham's house to look. And can you meet me here? And nobody ever shows up. But I got a reconnect fee for it. So that's why I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying not to sound short, but sometimes I'm a little brash or my words don't come out. I don't have filters, so they just come out how they do. Sorry. So I'm just trying to figure out how we owe $1,900 and we started out because somewhere on here, in the very beginning, we started out with a zero balance in August of 2017. See, October 16th, we paid $325. And then she took till 11/6 to deposit that in the account. So almost 2 weeks she had our cash that wasn't even deposited in the account. And according to the Century Code, you deposit it that day in a drop box for the very next business day. She kept it for 2 weeks. Why would she do that?
Well, I mean, that's where we're kind of in a bit of a.
Because she's not here,
She's
right?
not here, nor would she, I mean,
I'm just looking at what she printed off for me for, and you see there's a
If you're
2 week
looking
gap.
at the date there, sometimes you can't go every day that somebody comes to deposit money.
Right, but 2
I was
weeks,
there
2
one
weeks.
time with you were.
There are times you do that because you don't wanna go rushing up there all the time. If you're one time and paying and you put it there,
One way or the other, I'm not
you know.
saying you did or didn't do it, I'm just, I don't
It-
know.
it
how to
comes
prove
out
But according, if you're doing everything right, you're supposed to.
Every time I've been over there.
The Century Code said you can drop it in a Dropbox,
Every time I've been
wherever
over there,
that,
I've
at
taken
the
it
bank,
with me.
or the very next business day. 2 weeks is a long time when she was on vacation at the time to keep money. And I'm just raising a concern. This is all in the past, I get. But these are all concerns that have been in my head and Hank's head, which are, and I'm trying to get us all on a better footing or ground before he comes home. You understand?
and she hasn't been doing
When
really.
did you go to court on that issue of water? I know there was a-
I set everything up so that they dropped everything, this was back in July of last year.
July of 18, huh?
Of 19, because we're in, of 19, yeah. We had everything settled out, by the end, probably August, when everything was final. I can get that, I didn't bring that with me, I didn't think to, sorry. But it was around the end of August when everything was settled with, in the court. I'm just trying to make sense of it, because it's on, like, okay, 5/6, she charges $160 for reconnect fees.
Oh, the two connects to.
Yeah. And then you supposedly come to the house each time on the police reports, checking on the water, driving by, but then for a month and a half, nobody shows up to the house at all, and then again in May, they start all over again.
On May of 18.
May of 18, yes. And I'm not trying to take up too much time or anything, I'm just trying to make sense of it.
Well, my feeling is it went to
Hello?
court, why are we messing with it?
Hello?
You know, this was all settled in court.
Because you guys put it on my
Nothing,
tax,
you're not in
Under the plea agreement.
you put it on my tax bill, which according to Century Code now, I put city utilities on the tax bill. So I don't care to pay it, but I like to know, I like to make sense of something that I'm paying. Does that make sense?
It does, but I believe that these are accurate. When we were going through that time, we were dealing with it almost on a daily basis where water was getting turned on, or, a water meter was, laying on a table, we weren't even, using the water meter. All that stuff happened. There were fees applied, and those fees summed up. And then anytime when water bills are not paid, it's been the recommendation made to us by people who know more than I, that it gets pushed over to taxes. And as a council, I guess we agreed to push that 1,900 over to taxes, and that's where it's at.
As you can tell, I am paying, and I have no, I'm sick, sorry. I have no problem with that, but my issue is you put it on the taxes, and according to the Century Code, you can't do that. And the lady at the tax place, since it's already on there, she said that I need a letter from them. And I don't care to pay the bill. I've been paying on the one that we've incurred, and I just paid $400 more on it. And I know I incur a bill and it takes time to take it off, but maybe we could come to something that I just keep paying on that. I don't know.
On the 1900.
On the 19. Well, I don't understand why I'm getting charged $10 a month for, and I know it's some little sum for trash that never got picked up. Not one time. We did it ourselves.
Well,
Yeah, and it's
because if you don't pay your bill, we're not gonna come and pick up the trash, but I just,
But
I just think we settled all this already, I don't know.
Yes, that's
Oh, we
what I
can-
thought. I thought when we turned it over and agreed to the plea agreement that was between your attorney and the city attorney, that it was a done deal, we were done.
It's just like the water, I can only assume you get 13 months, but you still gotta pay that 13 months, whether it's water on or garbage,
so basically, there's nothing that we can come to for the 1,900 to get it paid down or off of that.
No, I don't think so.
Larry, I just,
The 19's off of there, and the other stuff's, as you can see, because you can see her $400, she's down to 120 something.
127.
Which you've been doing
In a
very
short
good.
time,
You've been doing very
well,
good.
we appreciate that, don't get us wrong.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just-
not looking for, I'm trying to get us all on a better
I
ground.
just can't see us going back now that it's settled, because we're gonna have everybody with a late fee coming in here saying, well, Angela got this off. We can't,
Okay, then what do we do about the bill that you're gonna charge me twice for $272 that nobody picked up trash at my house? You said I got a bill here,
I thought that was all in the police report too, that
That
your
was,
trash was down at.
that was.
that's separate from the water thing, I thought. Because
It was a bill that was sent, it is separate from the water, correct?
yeah, it's separate from the water.
Yeah, but,
But you sent me one that Ardell took one down to, wish it dumped a load for 900 pounds, I think. And then another one, yeah, the one from that Tom and Bill took was for 980 pounds. And then the one for our, what's the next page?
Well, I'm not gonna go back and say Ardell did anything wrong, there. He did his job.
I'm not
so-
saying Ardell did, but I've getting billed twice for the same
That was the
load of
deal.
trash.
That was to deal with the health department,
That
wasn't
was the health department.
it? Yeah, that was by order of the health department. We had to haul that.
But you didn't haul it from my house, you still hauled it from Stephen Schlinger's house.
As far as I understand, the garbage was inspected and contained your,
He told us that we could take a couple bags down. When you guys passed his trash up that day,
Yeah.
we took those bags back. Hank went down and took them back.
I think we dropped the issue here now,
okay,
because it's not our job. This was settled in the courtroom.
This was not part of that though.
We got a letter from,
okay.
Sorry, it's
You
settled.
wouldn't talk to me when we were going through it either, and now we're just dropping it again. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm sorry.
let's move on.
Okay, thank you, Angela.
Yeah.
Do you have that incoming call from Steve?
No, that was somebody trying to do something else.
Oh, he's not called in
A
yet?
sensor. A census, whatever.
Do we think he's gonna call in?
Yeah, he said he's gonna call us at 7:30.
So we can talk about it a little bit. Did you give everyone that handout?
I printed them off and gave to everybody.
So in your packet of things, you should have a letter from Trish Lane. So there's Steve Werzer. He did have a private assessment done. And then I spoke with Trish Lane this morning, and we're gonna probably rehash it if he calls in. But as you can see here, he was requesting for it to be lowered to, requesting for it to be lowered to 23,000 something. Find it here. 24,400, thank you. There, 24,400. He did have it assessed, and then Trish Lane also came and took a look at it. And Trish Lane said the person that went and made the inspection, was trustworthy, a good person, said that basement foundation is in abysmal shape. Therefore, she agreed with the structure value coming down to 24,500 from 53,600. And she did not agree with the lot value, because the lot apparently just sold very similar for, was it 3,200? So she values that property still at 3,300. But her recommendation would be for us to come down from 56,900 to 27,800, and he was asking for it to come down to 24,400. I know he was gonna call in, but we wanna table that until he calls in and move on with other stuff, or if we want to not wait, or
I
what?
personally think if this is the recommendation, we leave it to the county, we send it to them and say that's, instead of, because we're not gonna go into,
I agree, and looking,
Making up numbers.
thinking, looking at the house that we're talking about, and the one up there by the school, she valued that one at what, 23 something or 24, so they're close hand to hand. I think it's fair.
you get the 27.8, that's what Trish said.
Yeah, the 24.4.
Or Trish had said 27,800.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
This is what he wanted, and
Yeah.
this is what she,
But I think, we're coming down 20,
Yeah,
26, 29,000. I think.
I would actually move that we follow Trish's
Okay.
put it to the county.
recommendation.
Larry, you good with that?
Yeah, because she's recommending 27.8, that's, we can't argue with that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
I'm
start.
not gonna argue with it, you know?
I will, get that sent over. There's another form we have to fill out, isn't there?
The back of this one is all you
Yeah.
have to do, and then I'll do
Yeah.
whatever.
So we'll get that taken care of, and, I guess that'll go to county. If he does call in, we can have a brief conversation. But, so, who made that motion? Lauren? Is that?
I said Warren.
Oh, can I get a second?
Oh, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, all right. Okay. Bill, what do you got for us?
We may have a possible water break.
Ooh.
I'm not sure yet. It's a pretty small one
Okay,
right now. If it is any of them, owned by Kenny Doctors.
okay,
He called me this afternoon. He said there's been water kind of building up right in his driveway. But I don't notice it's all the way down the street. It's in everybody's driveway on that side of the road or the street. So tomorrow I'll check my numbers in the morning and check it out again. I kind of cleaned away from the curb.
It wasn't just run off from that.
It could be, so I'm not, I did do a water sample and it's pretty low. You know, the chlorine residual in it is pretty low, so I'm not too worried about it right
Okay.
now. So, Kenny said he'd watch it too.
okay.
I think Sherry has on the agenda about trash or,
The, seasonal,
oh yeah, that's.
the hunters that come in, that they turn their, they have it turned off, their water turned off at the curbside, and then when they come back, they turn it back on. What is the charge for that?
Did we ever charge for that?
You know, I thought being they were paying around the whole year, that we weren't.
It was kind of a.
And it kind of helps us out because then these houses don't freeze up
And
and.
one of the problems, I remember when that was up on the table, that goes back maybe, Harry was here about that time, that's 6, 7 years ago, was that we were not gonna do it after hours of weekends.
Right.
In other words, if they're coming on a Friday night, it's their responsibility to let us know earlier. But then the discussion also centered, okay, on Friday afternoon, Ardell or Bill goes down and turns this on, and let's say there is a broken pipe in that house, and he just turns it on and walks away, and they don't show up till Saturday morning, well, now they got a flooded basement.
That happened this spring down there at that Barnstable house. Oil line broke coming into the house and he wanted his water on. I had no idea.
Yeah, well, how would
it
it,
in.
yeah.
Right.
The only thing I could say is that, I don't know how many of those houses would know where there's keys for them,
There is a couple, but
that if they don't leave us a key, that we'll only turn it on during normal working hours.
right.
And if they leave us a key, then, you know, we'll do it on normal working hours, but then we're gonna go in and just check. Open the door and listen if you hear water running or not.
How do we get that to all these hunters though?
I think, you know, like
You know, I
Greg,
wonder if there isn't some, oh, excuse me.
like Greg Ells, what is he got, 3 in town? 3 or 4 they take care of, and I have him come over there and make sure. But other than that, I got that other house over there. Terry Griffith takes care of that one over by his house.
Are some of these people wondering what this costs, and that's why it's brought up in the?
There was
Just
a
you
lot
guys.
of them done off, so we weren't sure if you had to charge for them to go back on, or how, so we just wanted to make sure.
Obviously, you're just gonna be in contact with most of them,
Yeah,
anyway. You just
yeah.
have to let them know, I guess, that's.
I can let them know too if they call, you know, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
If they would leave a key hidden somewhere or with me, I can just put it in the vault here
And have you ever asked her now
for,
about if we charge on
They
seasonal
used to
homes?
back in the day, but then they switched it because people were paying, they were willing to still keep paying the bill year round.
See, that's where that kinda, we made that change, I remember, because when we turned them off, we quit charging. Well, that was a joke, because
Right.
that was on and off and on and off, sometimes twice a month. Now what do you do with it? And-
That was before it was water too, I guess.
Yeah. And then we went to the 12-month thing, and I think it was 12 months. You know, if they, and I think it should be in writing, but I don't know where that would be at.
through, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Okay, what about garbage, couches and appliances?
Well, we were wondering if we should, charge for going to pick them up. And like today, we had to go pick up 2 couches at a place. I mean, we could do it during our normal, garbage route, but it takes a little bit longer.
Thought that stuff was like, didn't have a special cleanup week for that, where we kinda,
We do, we still have people set stuff out, and, it's not just like couches, it's tree branches and stuff like that. Then we gotta go with the tractor after we're done with garbage. Tom runs around town, it's up to you guys if you guys wanna charge them $10, $15 a couch, or excessive garbage, or I don't know if they ever did that before.
Not to my knowledge, no.
but, I thought people were usually pretty good about not setting that stuff up unless it was basically cleanup week. People just putting couches out.
Normal sometimes, or they'll set up an old stove that went out, or,
What are we doing with those? Taking them to Dean? I don't like it, but,
usually not in the winter,
right,
summertime.
what do you guys think?
I didn't know that was an issue, sorry.
Yeah,
I hate to start charging them and then they have shit all over their backyards.
well, that's what I'm just afraid of, is if we start charging, then people just start, then all of a sudden 30 couches show up.
Couldn't you do like, maybe once every 3 months, have a special thing and they can put them out?
We do already, I mean, but
Once a year we do.
I don't think that solves this problem. Cause if it was just cleanup week and it's 2.5 months, they're gonna set their couches out. I don't know.
That's the problem. They go buy a new one, or a different one, they come home, well, I can't have, maybe the living room's not big enough for 2 of them. So they take the one outside, the old one, and
I guess just monitor it, if it gets worse, I
Does
don't
it,
know.
does it drive you crazy?
It don't really drive me crazy, no, it's just kind of
Annoying.
especially if it's one branch and it's sitting out on the curb, and we just can't let it sit there.
Right.
Or the couch just sit there.
I mean, we don't have to, it's just,
there is a point, I guess, I know at Jamestown, I think you're allowed 2 dumpsters, and or 2 trash cans, and that's it.
Yeah.
Anything
That's
more
the
than
same,
that,
so that's far it was the same.
they don't pick it.
I mean, granted, we're not Jamestown, we're Clarkville, but.
Right.
there's-
There's precedent for it.
I mean, whether we, I don't care so much about the branches, it's, the couches that people just set out, and the appliances, they have to go around town and pick them up. I mean,
I was just
it's
unaware
not
we
like
could
it's
do that.
hard work or
So,
anything, it's
I was gonna
just,
say,
I was unaware we could even do that, and you'd come get them, so I'm confused.
yeah, I guess, yeah. Trying to figure out how we would handle that. How we'd educate people.
And I guess, I think like microwaves, technically, we shouldn't even put them in the garbage truck, should we?
no, we can't take microwaves in the garbage truck. No.
Does Dean take them like that?
Yeah, we usually take them down there.
Should be a delivery charge, shouldn't it?
But
To
the
Dean.
hell- What the hell it is, contributing.
Well, number 1, contributing, number 2, I'm also, like I said, I'm afraid, $15 is pretty cheap to haul out a couch. And if people start becoming aware, I'm just afraid,
They'll bring
you
couches.
get, all of a sudden, you're gonna have 35 couches to,
They'll bring a couch from Jamestown.
oh, yeah. Right?
So are we just gonna monitor this for now and see if it gets worse?
I don't know.
I don't really have an answer.
Well, I don't think it's a big problem. We could probably table it till next month too.
Alright, we'll keep an eye on it.
Let's
Keep us,
table it.
keep us
Yeah,
posted.
just
Bill.
table it till.
Alright. Anything else you got going?
Should be it.
Okay. So Sherry,
Okay, I need a permit for the Gackle Country Club for the Texas Hold'em. Are you approving a permit for them this year?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Okay, Mike Zinker would like you to think about and then come up with a price. He would like to know if he could get trash picked up from his new house he's building.
hatred. So who are we currently picking up anyone out of town garbage?
No.
We have said.
We
no
do
in the
have some
past.
out of towners that bring their garbage to town and leave it, and they pay $10 to have their garbage taken out.
So
But
he wants
he
us,
was, he,
us to go out there and pick it up.
Do you
well, with the
drive
trash truck.
past the golf course on the way to Wishick or not normally?
Well, it's depending on our mood, we'll go south or we'll go.
We gotta keep in mind, Pat Ravinis has been after us for years to bring his, and we've said no every time, so.
Mhm. And we do go pick the golf course once a month or whatever it is.
He's right next to the golf course. So we can table that and y'all think about it, but he just wanted to come way ahead of time and figure out what he's doing.
Maybe if we say yes to him, we have to say yes to other
Well,
people.
that's why we were kind of worried.
Right.
Be another whole truckload, pretty much.
Oh, easily.
Or we make the fee so high, he won't want us to.
Alright, yeah, we'll see, I'll maybe talk to him.
Table it, okay. And we already did Angela Markham's. You'll find another sheet there with the number 10122.
That's Ashley's.
If you can find the letter on there that she sent, that she wants to come in an agreement to get hers paid off. But I will say, she put on here that she would be making the bill she got, she missed her payment last month and then she only paid $50. So then she sent this letter with $50 to say that she would pay more on the 3rd and on the 18th. Well, today's the 3rd and I checked the mail and everything right before I came to make sure. So she's already not going on the agreement there she wants to have. I don't know, she says she'll have it paid off by the end of February. Do you want me to let her do that, or do we want to do shut off, or?
I guess I'm okay with giving her till the end of the month, but, what do you guys feel?
When she's making regular payments, we're not.
Well, she was under an agreement with Sam to try to catch it up, but she pays enough, but it doesn't really, a whole lot doesn't go towards the other, you know what I mean, to the Riochas. But with the letter she got, I think she's ready to get it paid up. I did send out letters with everybody that were late.
She promised to pay on February 3rd. That's today.
That's today.
Where's her letter?
And I didn't have a phone number to call or anything to tell her to be up here to talk to you guys, so.
I mean,
Should we just give her to the end of the month and,
she's making regular payments, 200, 150, 100, 150. Give her to the end of the month, I guess, I don't care. Leave it to you guys.
I'm okay with
And
that.
okay,
she's making,
I mean, if she doesn't pay by the end of the month, I don't think we should be lenient after that.
no, because
No.
for the month of the 1st, we didn't get any payment
It
of
should be
January.
very clear that we'll give
Yeah.
it, or I'd agree to the end of the month, but from here on out,
No
no
more
more
lenient,
excuses.
yeah, no more.
If it's due on the 10th, you pay on the 10th. If she has a track record, mile
I was
long.
gonna say, listen, she's starting to get a record. She was last paid up current was
Almost a year ago.
February, March. End of March. Okay,
Okay. And I think that's it for me.
okay.
Oh, my late payment sheet self-explanatory to all y'all,
Yeah.
right?
Looks good to me.
Okay. Worked very well this month.
Okay. Andy, water sewer police. Mr. High is gone. Larry, you got anything? Lauren,
Harvey Fiechner, building permit.
okay, and then also, Corey Rimble wanted me to ask you, he needs a building permit for the work he's doing in his basement. He's just, he put up a wall, and we drywalling it to make a bedroom downstairs. So, what's Harvey doing? Was he in that?
Storage building,
Oh, okay,
and I don't know the dimensions.
okay. So I'll take a motion to approve Harvey Fiegner and Corey Rembold's building permits.
So,
Andy, second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anything else on you got? Okay. Old business. Meters on houses, snow removal, the sidewalks, Cave Center, has that been? Oh,
Meters on houses.
yeah.
You know, I think that's something we should address next summer. Like, even at our house, you know,
There's in
I
such
can
hard
run that
places.
18-2 wire through the basement, shoot out the front, and mount it on the deck. Then they don't have to stomp through 4 feet of
there's a
snow.
bunch of them, yeah, because you're.
You know, in a lot of these houses, we should probably take a look.
Now,
Get the meters to the front, to the
that would be
street,
very nice, you guys.
to the street.
So I can do that in mine too.
What did it cost that time to put all those meters? We didn't get an estimate to where you can drive by and just get it?
Yeah. What was that? I
It
don't
was like
remember.
80, so I was gonna say if we get half of that paid for, maybe not a bad idea to think about that.
Over in Streeter, they did
Is
that,
it
and
something wrong
she
with
said
these? What,
it's,
6 of
I
them?
don't remember that.
Either now. It was just a thought.
No, I mean, that'd be a good idea. I mean,
now when you were talking about meters on the houses from the last month, the, over here with the Burries,
Mm-hmm.
I told you I'd stop and talk with them. That is not in their basement, it's out back. And the reason they don't let you go there is they had problems with another meter reader, always leaving the gate open and their dogs getting out. So I talked with them and I said, if I come to your door and talk to you and let you know I'm here, and I go around and I promise to lock that gate up again and I'll be responsible for it, would you let me? And they said yes.
Oh, nice.
So it wasn't a problem, they didn't want you in there, it was not being, the dogs were being let out of the yard.
Okay.
Who's Tom?
He's the one that.
That's that church, that's that old church.
So we'll never see that then.
No.
No.
That snow
These
removal.
numbers, when they start to get up there, did you see that?
Well, when if somebody sells
that's
that,
under
that has to
membership.
be.
The guy that
Oh, that's right.
owns it now is out in Dickinson. And when I was going around with those houses, demolition, I called him, he won't return the phone call.
Oh.
I have no intention, no idea what his intent is for that building.
So would that be, like, you could get Andrew to condemn that building?
Well, all the doors are falling off in front and the cats are all living in it. Katie has to keep going over and shutting the doors so the cats get out of there.
Like,
I don't know if Lauren's got the patience anymore to go through all those steps again.
You know, the sorry side of it is, after what we went through with Craig, I have no hope that that's even an option.
Okay.
Because it's, I think we spent right around $5,000, or city did. And when she come here that night and said her ordinance aren't properly ratified, and she had them for the whole 3 months or whatever, that was her last excuse. It's bullshit. And when, which house was it? Oh, that was that case over here with the garbage and stuff? When I walked out of Central Valley Health, she said, you know, with 30 days, they were gonna send her a letter and it'd be 30 days or 15 days, they'd have to clean up the tires and all the mess around front. Or no. It was because of something else. Well, for one, they never sent the letter. Then they finally did send them a letter, and then when I called in, they said, well, they didn't have a current address. That's the way it started. Well, but anyway, as far as the tires and all the other crap, they were gonna send a letter, and if they don't address the issue, then they were gonna send the city a letter, and we were supposed to go in and clean it up. And the last thing I said when I left that committee meeting was, if you sent that 30-day letter, and we go in there, somebody from your agency, from the health department's gotta be there and tell us what can stay and what can't. They never did get the letter. Because they claim, Mrs. Isler told me, they have no authority. So one day they tell you one thing, the next day the other. I think it's hopeless. Totally hopeless.
Okay, it's good to know.
What's the snow removal?
That was his own
Care
business.
center and,
That was all old
That's the whole
business.
business. We talked about, like, what our responsibility as a city for this.
oh,
That was the last meeting. I was just going over, we talked about care center, the post office, alley, mailboxes.
okay, okay.
More engineering was here, Herald city account update. Backwards parking, we talked with Alex and Andy, looks like message was received, I guess I haven't noticed it.
Yeah, it has.
And they'll talk about the Black House water. Okay, new business. The abatement for Steve Werzer, we already did that. Trish did that. Postal problems. That's a new, is that new?
Yeah.
Yep.
That wasn't on there when I sent it to you,
Okay.
because Lauren hadn't talked to me yet.
What's going on?
What, I know Sherry's experienced that, you know, there's people that are coming in here that are on that water list. They never got a water bill. I don't know, and then Sunday when we met for coffee, group of people were saying how bad it is. One family said they had a contractor out of Jamestown do work. And they kinda forgot about it. They had water in the basement, and this guy did a lot of work there. And he sent them a bill, and he didn't push the issue. And they thought of it, just must have been lately here. You know, they never got a bill from him, so they called him, and he said, well, I billed you back right after I did the job. But I thought it was pretty sizable, so he thought they needed time to come with the money, get the money put together. And they said, no, we got the money. We didn't get a bill. And they paid it, and they called him, I think, on a Monday. And it was the end of January here. On the 8th, 29th, they got that letter in the mail. It was dated December 14th, I think.
I have some of these with the bills.
From Jamestown to Gackle.
Napoleon's got the same thing going on over there.
And there's quite a few towns with it, because that's why, if you'll see the orange highlighted, that I forgave those and took them off, was because of the mail system.
And when I did
It's taken, anyway, a lot of them during the Christmas holiday, it was 2 to 3 weeks before I got some that people mailed to pay their water bills.
I did my water sample on the 21st, and I always overnight it to Fargo. It didn't get there till the 24th. And I asked her if she's had problems with that. She said she's had a few problems with this area, as far as getting water samples. The water sample can only be in the mill for 36 hours. Anything over that is considered old. Then you have to redo it.
And then sometimes they just double charge it.
What can we, or what do we?
You know, I don't know if there's anything we could, you know, we have no regulation on or
Right.
control of the postal department. And I don't know where the problem is. I'm not saying it's here in Gackle, it could be Fargo, because I did hear a comment.
Well, it leaves
A lot
here,
of
it leaves
contract-
here, goes
The
to
help
Jamestown,
down
we
there,
sort of
the
bid
sorting
it.
room is contract help, is Mexican people that can speak or read English, and they're sorting our mail. So you can about imagine. Now, I'm wondering about the water bills. Should we post something in the paper that people are aware that you usually read them on the 15th or
Between the 11th and the 13th they're read.
so that,
But they get their bill out probably about the 15th, 16th, I mail them out, and they should have them by the 20th.
Right.
So if they don't have one by the 20th, they should call me.
you know, that they probably should get the word out, that if they don't get a bill, that people should kind of keep it in their mind about the 25th call so we don't have this delinquent list to look at.
Well, the delinquent list, they got their bill, but it was a matter of getting it back here paid.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's something you can tackle, Terry,
Something
send
as a
us
city we can call.
email
somewhere,
to
report a problem, you know what I mean?
Tanya, and just say,
Yeah,
you know,
You know,
I've been made aware that there's been problems with the mail.
The only other way I know be the congressman, the federal. It's like hell.
because it's not just this, I mean, it's a
Right.
lot of the small
It's this
towns, the
area.
small towns offices are dealing with it the most.
Okay.
I got one in, it was mailed from Hazen, mailed to Beulah, and was put in my post office box. How it got to mine, I don't have no clue, but it left from Hazen to Beulah and it ended up in Gackle.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on it, and I guess we'll have to have an understanding approach when it comes to water bills, because, I mean, you know, when I just send mine off, I put it in the mail, and, you know, you won't know until next month that, oh, they didn't get mine.
Yeah, cause a lot of those 5 send them out immediately.
And it's like it delivered a month late. Yeah, so we'll have to probably keep an eye on it. And if it gets any worse, I guess we'll probably have to do something.
And I encourage people probably to either drop them at the bank or
Right.
use the slot here, but not cash, you know, checks.
So you'll put something in the paper then?
You want it in the paper or do you want it on our Facebook? Well, not everybody has Facebook.
How
I
about
would
paper?
say,
Paper, okay.
and maybe just if you could make up a couple posters, like at the post office and at the bank,
Mhm.
that's probably the two areas that most
So the
people.
post office will love that.
I feel for her right now because it's not, she's having a problem with the same thing, we've got so much mail.
Alright, so I don't know if this is anything that you guys care to know about, but received a letter from the director of the US Census Bureau to the Honorable Jeff Reiser, so it must have been sent to the wrong person. But basically, they want us, this is a map of the outline of our city limits. And they want us to basically make any corrections so that they are in the know. And I was talking with Lauren a little bit earlier. This was last done in 2010, and I don't think we've made any changes there, so.
We get the same thing in the fire department, in the district. And I think what it is, somebody annexes in or annexes out, so they can keep it current.
Is that good? And then, now that's the south piece that has, yeah, yeah, thank you. Everything else I think is right. So, I don't think we really need to change anything.
Because was there a form that they could fill out?
Yeah, down here.
And just send it in.
Yeah. So, and basically I just check the legal boundary for our government is correct. So,
Yeah.
so that's pretty straightforward, just want to make you guys aware of it. Of course, that's not very important. The other thing I had was, so we've been trying to deal with our DUNS number is registered to the city, which we need for basically like getting grants or applying for grants, stuff like that. The DUNS number was still valid, but our SAM account, and I can't remember exactly what SAM stands for, but it's a federal government thing. It's something award management, and again, you need a SAM account with a valid DUNS number associated to it. Our SAM account had lapsed, and the credentials, I mean, they can't just like Sam's credentials, so we had to register a new account, and then move our Dun Bradstreet over to the new account, so, that took forever, but we were able to get it done. So, Daniel Schwartz, who's the Logan County Emergency Management guy, is submitting a grant to get security cameras installed at the fire hall.
Is he gonna use the city?
You can use the city one, cause Well, he's gonna try, because I don't know what happened, so the fire department, the ambulance used to have one as well, and then the city
They
all
all
had
expired
one.
back in
And
July.
they all expired. Ours expired in July, I don't know when the fire departments did, and I don't know when the ambulance did, but they were all no longer. And I know we had emails with Melody Owen, and I don't know that she ever did anything with it. So he's gonna try and run with the city number, and we'll just have to stay on top of keeping that thing, updated. But it's done and,
Did you do it? or
Yeah.
did he?
I didn't do it.
They're due like the end of January of every year.
Yeah,
So I have it marked on my thing for the calendar
okay.
that you have to renew them by the 31st of January.
So, and the last thing we had was Marty Pressler.
Oh, did we ever, I know at one of the minutes, about 4 months ago, 5, it was gonna get taken over to Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's right here.
That finalized?
It's finalized, all ready to go.
Okay.
That kinda hit my back burner.
We had a lot going on inside here with the change of me coming in and that one going out.
So, yeah,
So with this, I was gonna ask you, there's a bill here, go ahead and pay that and send this to them both at the same time
Yep.
tomorrow? That'd be good?
yep.
Okay.
So that was regarding, way back in the day, we had basically bought,
I know you will.
yeah, okay, that tract of land, we were, just in case we wanted to put a water pump out there, and then we never did, so per that agreement, they could buy it back. So they chose that option, so. That's all I had for new business. Anyone have anything else? I will not be able to be at the next meeting, so you guys don't have to deal without me, but time of the meeting is March 2nd at 7 PM, unless you wanna move it.
What day, what
Maybe like 2 weeks. They'll be gone that day and the following Monday. They'll be gone from the 29th to like the 8th.
I guess it's up to you guys if you wanna wait till he gets back or just do it. Doesn't matter to me. Well, Jeff.
Because I think Jeff is
Jeff,
back.
definitely back.
I'd say we just go ahead.
Okay, so March 2nd, at 7 PM. All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good times.